he handles well for all, and he got SAT, good score, everything done, apply for the university. And then the senior year come, and this kid's become a totally different person. And the parents at the beginning thought the kids just need to relax, right? Because this stressful years for the junior and all the works, now the kids just want to relax, want party. And the kids start, like in the weekend, going hang out with his buddies and have parties all weekends long. And then on Monday, he sleep in, didn't go to school, missed the school. And this happened quite often. Well, the parents probably didn't realize how important it is, because senior year seems like everything is down. The kids does reserve a right to be relaxed. And then, until the principal of the high school called the parents in and said, do you know your kids had several detentions already? If you keep missing school like that, another detention, your kids probably will never graduate from high school. So that's like a big bomb. The parents talk with the kids, why you do this? Do you want to graduate from high school? If you cannot go to the university. You're going to ruin your futures, right? And it seems the conversation didn't go anywhere. The kids still doing the same thing. And then the parents got calling again by the principal to the principal's office. Now this time, the principal, those education experts, talk with the parents. The first sentence is, have you ever think your son might be smoking marijuana or using drugs? And the parents, I probably doing the same thing. So what are you talking about? How could my son would do that? That white kids might, that black kids might, not my son, right? This is very, very common for all our Chinese parents. Well, there's a historical reason behind this. And I think in my generation, we had this history study in China, and we all know the recent history of China, there's the two open wars, right? We all know. And after that two wars, we lost Hong Kong, we lost so many things, and most of all, we lost the good image of Chinese people, right? We were called as the sick man of East Asian, 东亚病夫, right? So even nowadays, we still very care about it. We are holding an Olympic, we have this and that, and every time we say, we don't want anyone looking at us and said, you are the sick man of the East Asian, right? Because of that, the shameful memory in our mind, which is really, really bad. So we probably think, and this happened in history, and how could my son or my kids would do this again? There's no way our kids would do this, right? We will never let them to do that. However, the kids do that. And we can see from the video, and these two kids they're just talking about, right? And alcohol too. Now let me go back to my friend's son. Okay, so when the parents know these kids smoking marijuana, it's a big disaster happened in the family. They have a big fight. They almost get the police in, just calm everybody down. And then because for the sake of the kids, they didn't call the police. But it's a huge wall happened in the family. And the parents are very suffering. They told us as a friends, and they don't want this thing opens up. And we also think, as the parents think, the kids sort of ruin his future. The kids probably, now it's a big loser. The kids probably won't go to the university, and the kids totally hopeless. Okay, so that's what our view. It's you can tell it's overreacting or whatever. We might overthinking it's so serious. However, 2 months later, okay, all the colleges have the letter to the graduates of high school, and this kid got a letter from very famous university. He got admitted, and then we were all called. We rushed to his house and celebrate for these kids. And the parents is so proud and ask the younger siblings and my kids too, say, look up him, okay? This is how successful the kid is. He's going to that universities, and we're really proud of you. So that confused me, that moment, because what we're talking about is what's the definition of success, and which the kid's just talking about. We're using the same thing. We tell the kids, we really care about your happiness, but what we do is we're telling the kids, you're going to a good university, you're successful, even you still smoke marijuana. Is that right? Okay, so let me talk about the conversations now. The conversation I had last week with a young teenager who's also 18 years old, graduated from a good high school and going to a good university. This kid is very smart, very sharp. I like him a lot. The reason I talk with him is because he asked me, what you going to talk about next week in here? So I told him, I said, I'm going to give an example. And then so he listened what I just told you about that example. And then I turned around, I said, okay, let me ask you the question, okay? Because my friend one time asked me, said, you know, if your son smoke marijuana, what you going to do? He doesn't want to go to the rehab, and he's 18 years old. He's going to the university pretty soon, and I cannot force him to go. So what you going to do? What she means is she can do nothing. As a mom, she's so helpless that time. So I asked the kids, okay, I said, what are you going to do? And he goes, I won't let my son go that far, which is a pretty good answer. I think that in our Chinese, there's a slang or old saying, 防微杜渐, right? So he knows that as 18 years old. And then I asked him, I said, what do you think of marijuana and alcohol? And he goes, well, before the 10th grade, all the information I got from school, from my parents, it seems like drug is so terrible things. If you have anything with drug, you like dead people. And then after the 10th grade, and I know, you know, my friends or the student in the same school, they did drink alcohol and smoke marijuana. And some of the kids, they're still good, just like the videos show you, right? Some good kids, they are party animal, but they're still good. They're doing good in grades, and others too. Okay, so that make him to change the view towards the drug. And he said, a lot of information our parents have is outdated, and it's not updated, which I agree. Like the information I got is probably the historical things, or in our generation, when we were young, we have no idea what drug is in China. So what we know is either from the newspaper or from broadcasting, the media, you know. It's not the true life experience. And that's why we tend to overreact on that. And that usually causes a big gap between our generation and next generation. So then I asked this teenager, I said, okay, so he also gave me, I'm sorry, I also asked him, I said, do you think marijuana is a sort of like, could be a cause addiction to you, or you think this is only psychologically addiction, not physical addiction? This is a very popular saying, okay? And he goes, yes, I do think it that way, because the scientific research show the ingredients in the marijuana is not as addictive as the nicotine or the alcohol. So that's sort of like make me feel this is not a big deal, right? Then I asked him the next question. So it sounds like not a big deal to you. Now you're going to the university pretty soon. In the weekend, you're going to have a party with your big buddies, right? Our good buddies. And they goes, everyone is smoking marijuana. And they goes, why don't you just take one? Try one, we're all high, right? And then, so are you going to do it? He told me no. And I said, I don't believe you, because it sounds like not good big deal. Why you not do it? It won't hurt you. And you said if you quit,